Hey everyone, and welcome to The Explainer. Today, we are unpacking a highly requested and, honestly, an incredibly powerful topic: automating MQL5 trade signals. Now, if you're building expert advisors, you already know that manually managing subscriptions is just a thing of the past. So we're going to dive deep into the MQL5 language reference together, and we'll discover the exact functions and properties you need to automate this entire process. And this really brings us to the absolute core question of our session today. How can your expert advisor automatically find and copy the best trading signals without you ever having to manually click a button or, obsessively check a chart? Well, we're going to explore exactly how to give your trading robots the ability to scout, analyze, and subscribe to signals in a way that is completely and beautifully hands-off. Okay, let's dive right in. Here's our logical roadmap for today. First, we'll do a quick trade signals overview. Second, we'll get into querying the database. Third, evaluating signal stats. And finally, managing subscriptions. Let's get to it. All right, so here is the high-level developer's blueprint workflow. You can really think of this as the core logic loop that your algorithm is going to systematically process. Step 1, your EA selects a signal from that vast MQL5 database. Step 2, it evaluates the performance stats of that specific signal against whatever criteria you've predefined. And Step 3, it configures the local terminal settings and just subscribes. It's a super clean 3-step pipeline. Section 1, Trade Signals Overview, the core conceptual model. So before we even think about writing a single line of code, grasping exactly how MQL5 separates its data is absolutely critical. The API brilliantly divides signal data into two completely distinct categories. First up, we have signal base. Think of this as the massive global database sitting on the server. It contains all the historical performance, the author details, the return on investment for literally everything on the market. Then, on the other side, we have SignalInfo. These are the local terminal copy settings running right there on your specific machine, and they control things like your deposit percentage or your maximum acceptable slippage. You really have to remember this crucial distinction. Base properties are global and read-only, while info properties are local and configurable. Moving on to Section 2, Querying the Database, Discovering Signals. Obviously, before our EA can evaluate anything, it has to scan the marketplace first. So how do we actually program this discovery phase? Well, first, your EA calls SignalBaseTotal, and that retrieves the absolute total number of available signals out there. Then, using that maximum number, you set up a standard loop using SignalBaseSelect index. By passing the index number in, you select one specific signal, pulling it right into focus so your algorithm can process it. You are literally iterating through the entire database, one by one. Just imagine your algorithm parsing through thousands of strategies in a matter of milliseconds. It's wild. Section 3, Evaluating Signal Stats, Filtering the Best. Okay, now that your EA knows how to actually find every signal, it needs to analyze them. This is the fun part. This is the phase where your algorithm separates the best strategies from the highly risky ones. Once a signal is selected using its index, MQL5 gives you a specific family of functions to pull its properties. And notice how neatly they are clustered by data type here. We have SignalBaseGet double for your floating point values, SignalBaseGet integer for whole numbers, and SignalBaseGet string for text-based data. Let's break down exactly what kind of intelligence you can extract with each of these. Now, what's really fascinating here is how you can use these exact double properties for automatic risk filtering. By passing these enum signal base double identifiers into your getter function, you pull the account balance and equity. But take a look at SignalBase Max Drawdown and SignalBase ROI. Think about it. You can program your EA to instantly discard any signal with a max drawdown that exceeds, say, 15%. Unlike us humans who might hold on to a bad trade hoping it turns around, your algorithm applies ruthless, emotionless risk management right at the discovery phase. Next up, we have the integer properties, which you access via enum signal base integer. While the double values we just looked at told us all about percentages and money, these integers allow your expert advisor to gauge the popularity and the historical volume of a signal. For instance, signal-based subscribers tells you exactly how many other people actually trust this signal. And signal-based trades, along with signal-based pips, those are incredibly useful to ensure the signal has a long, proven track record. You really don't want your EA copying a signal that only has 5 lucky trades, right? You want to see real volume and consistency. The final piece of this evaluation phase uses string properties under enum SignalBaseString, and these text values are totally critical for environmental matching. Your EA can quickly check the SignalBase broker and SignalBase broker's server to ensure the signal provider is actually operating in a similar environment to yours, which, trust me, really helps minimize execution lag and slippage. Plus, verifying that the SignalBase currency matches your account's base currency, that little check can save you from getting hit with some seriously unexpected conversion fees. All right, Section 4, Managing Subscriptions, Execution and Configuration. So, we've discovered the signals, we've filtered them down. Now it's time to actually configure your terminal and commit. Let's see how this builds out our final execution logic. Remember earlier when we talked about the difference between SignalBase and SignalInfo? Well, now we are strictly working with the SignalInfo functions. And notice a major difference here. We now have set functions right alongside the get functions. SignalInfoSet double and SignalInfoSet integer allow your algorithm to actively configure your local terminal's parameters. We are no longer just passively reading data, we are taking action. Let's look at the specific double properties you can configure locally. These enum SignalInfo double identifiers manage your execution risk. SignalInfoSlippage allows you to define exactly how much price deviation you're actually willing to accept when your terminal syncs up with the provider's market orders. But even more critical than that is SignalInfoEquityLimit. You can essentially program your EA to set a hard equity floor. If your account equity ever drops to this limit, the copying just stops immediately. It is an incredibly powerful automated safety net. Now, the integer flags here are the absolute heart of automated execution. You use SignalInfoDeposit% to allocate exactly how much of your account is dedicated to this specific signal. You can toggle whether or not to copy stop loss and take profit levels, but please pay special attention to SignalInfo confirmations disabled. By actively setting this flag to true via your script, you're enabling synchronization without the terminal displaying a manual confirmation dialog box. This specific integer flag is exactly what allows your expert advisor to run completely 100% hands-off. And this brilliantly illustrates our final trigger point. After all that scanning, all the filtering and the local configuration, your EA simply calls signal subscribe, passing in the exact signal ID you retrieved during the discovery phase. And boom, you're connected. On the flip side, if your EA detects that the signal provider's drawdown has suddenly increased way beyond your limits, it can programmatically call signal unsubscribe to instantly sever the connection and protect your account. Just like that. So we've covered the complete developer's blueprint today, from discovering the absolute total number of signals to iterating through them one by one, extracting their stats, configuring your local terminal settings, and finally executing that subscription without a single manual confirmation. The sheer power of the MQL5 Trade Signals API is immense. With this database and these functions right at your fingertips, the only real question left is, what will your algorithm copy next? Thanks so much for joining us for this explainer, and we seriously can't wait to see what you build.